Chapter 1001, The Poison's Effect. A small jade bottle appeared in Tang Xiu's hand as he moved his finger. Using his thoughts, he wound the cork up its neck. In but a moment, the bottle cap was pulled out, and the colorless and odorless gas floated out from the bottle mouth. He then exerted his power to wrap the gas to drift towards Xingqiu and the old man. He did all of that very secretively, causing Xingqiu and the old man inside the ancestral hall to be unable to detect his actions, as even Xingluan who stood next to him was unaware of what he was doing. "So, which one of you is really in charge of the Dark Shaman clan then?" asked Tang Xiu smilingly as he looked at Xingqiu and the old man. There was a bit of a playful tone in his voice. "Tua is the patriarch. He naturally holds the right to manage the clan," answered the old man indifferently. "Well, then it's much easier for us to deal with this issue since the one with the rights is here, don't you think?" Tang Xiu nodded and said, "Anyway, don't you feel that the Dark Shaman clan has been stagnant for too long all these years? You see, even your own son, who is supposed to be the young master of Dark Shaman clan, is so dirt poor that he doesn't have enough money to buy things, no?" "What the hell are you talking about?" responded Xingqiu coldly. "What I mean is very simple. Just step down from your position and give way to a more qualified person." Tang Xiu grinned and said, "But of course, it's best to give it to Xingluan though. I believe that your Dark Shaman clan will become more formidable under his leadership." "This is the internal affairs of my Dark Shaman clan. Why should your distinguished self worry about that anyway? What I'm telling you is the truth, it's the intention Xingluan has always had in his heart." Tang Xiu shrugged and lightly smiled. "Just ask him if you don't believe me." Upon seeing how calm Tang Xiu's expression was, Xingluan, who had been inwardly restless after seeing the sudden appearance of his grandfather, took a deep breath. He then looked straight at Xingqiu and said, "Father, you're old and you being the clan's patriarch will affect your own cultivation. Hence, you might as well pass on the patriarch seat to me. You can rest your worries about the clan's prosperity. I'll definitely able to develop our Dark Shaman clan's power as long as I'm the clan's patriarch. I'll make every clansman's strength progress by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. That way you can have a peaceful time cultivating in seclusion, no longer affected by the mundane affairs in the clan." "Shut the hell up, you unfilial son," roared Xingqiu angrily. "I could have considered passing on the patriarchal seat to you prior to this. But you have colluded with outsiders, you've committed treason just to deal with your own father. A man like you is worthless. You're unworthy of being the Dark Shaman clan's patriarch, you're even unworthy of being a member of the clan." Xingluan's expression turned cold, and he said in a deep voice, "So, you're that adamant to not pass the patriarch seat to me, father? You know, Xingqiu is as good as dead already. You no longer have another son to pass on the position except me." Xingqiu's eyes lit up and he asked in a deep voice, "So you say that Xingqiu is still alive?" "He is now. But you can expect his death soon," replied Xingluan coldly. "Where is he?" asked Xingqiu in a deep voice. "You still care about where your damned eldest son is?" Xingluan scornfully talked back with a bitter laugh. "I knew it. You've always been partial to him, but I really didn't expect you favor him to this degree. Xingqiu has been suppressing me all these years, leaving me no room to breathe at all. So much so that he'd push me to my end just for the sake of becoming the patriarch. And yet you've never once helped me. Instead, you helped him all the way through. I'm so very fed up and disappointed with you. Xingqiu is more resourceful and bold, someone who is the most suitable to inherit the patriarch seat of the Dark Shaman clan. I just chose who's the most outstanding, you can't compare with him," said Xingqiu regretfully. "Aside from all that, I never wanted you to die. Back before you had a final stand with Xingqiu, I sent Xingli and the 13 shaman guardians to catch up and protect you." Tang Xiu patted Xingluan's shoulder and lightly said, "It's no use talking anymore. Things have gotten to this point, it's obvious that he won't give you the patriarch seat easily. So, we can only threaten with our combat forces, unless they're not afraid of death. It seems like you really want to meddle in our internal affairs, huh, Chinese man? Xingqiu glared at Tang Xiu and shouted, "Are you not afraid of meeting your own demise here? Me? Dying here? Are you an idiot dreaming of the impossible?" mocked Tang Xiu. "Just try to circulate your mana, Xingqiu, then tell me what you feel." Xingqiu was stunned and secretly circulate his mana immediately. His face was devoid of color as he faintly felt a weakening sensation in his body. He tried to circulate his mana in the meridians and found that it was hard to control. What's going on? He quickly turned his head to look at his father. The old man frowned and secretly circulate his mana in his body. His complexion changed in a similar fashion as fear flashed in his eyes. He looked up to stare at Tang Xiu and growled, "What the hell did you do?" "Why? You mean why you're finding it hard to circulate the mana in your body, and why you feel a numb sensation on the insides, yes?" interrupted Tang Xiu with a grin. "Well, you see, I'm someone who loves a happy ending, so I'll satisfy your curiosity. I poisoned you secretly when we just arrived, along with everyone else in the temple. No one but me in this world can remove that poison." Damn. The old man's complexion greatly changed and he flung himself toward Tang Xiu instantly. Tang Xiu grabbed Xingluan's shoulder and towed him back by jumping backwards dozens of meters away. Then he laughed loudly and said, "I think it's best for you to hurry up if you want to deal with us. The longer you waste the time, the more difficult it will be for you to circulate your mana and the more weakened your body will be. Of course, you must be prepared once you really want to battle us, as I'll kill you after your strength has greatly decreased. Well, I can still help Xingluan to train a batch of wizards though. Go back." Suddenly, Tang Guang appeared in front of Tang Xiu and fiercely brandished his immortal sword, causing the old man's heartbeat to thump faster. Right as he was about to parry it, another immortal sword appeared in front of him soundlessly. The sword's power appeared much weaker, yet it was too fast and extremely cunning. He didn't have a choice but to give up attacking Tang Xiu, retreating back to the ancestral hall instantly. Tang Xiu took out a cigarette from his pocket before lighting it up and taking 2 puffs. He spoke after blowing the smoke out, "All of you, people say that those who know times are wise. We came here, meaning that we are fully prepared. No matter how hard you struggle, your fate is still ultimately under my control. If you want to live, let Xingluan be the new patriarch of Dark Shaman Clan. Though if you want to die, it'd be even easier since I'll definitely help you with that wish. I'll kill you." Xingqiu instantly unsheathed the crescent machete from his waist. Raising the staff in his left hand, he chopped the machete in his right hand toward Tang Xiu. "Enough." The old man flashed and directly cancelled Xingqiu's attack. Under the disbelieving eyes of Xingqiu, he looked at Tang Xiu and said, "Is your goal really that simple? Just to help Xingluan be our Dark Shaman Clan's patriarch? Or is there another deal between you and him?" Raising his thumbs up, Tang Xiu praised, "Well, old Ginger really is hotter than the younger ones. You've guessed it. I do have a deal with Xingluan and the transaction is beneficial for both of us since I don't want it to be one-sided. Am I right, Xingluan?" "Yes." Xingluan nodded. The old man narrowed his eyes and asked again, "I want to know the content of the transaction first. Don't try to conceal anything or lie about it. A lie can never be hidden forever, while more unforeseen accidents can happen once it is exposed. Mr. Tang needs Sorcerer's Stone, Grandpa. He's willing to exchange it with pills," explained Xingluan. "I didn't know that such pills existed before Mr. Tang gave them to me. I found that the pills can greatly help our wizardry cultivation." At his words, the old man responded with an incredulous face before angrily shouting, "Shut up. Don't tell me you don't know the meaning of Sorcerer's Stone to our clan? That's our foundation and the best supplement for our cultivation. Without it, our clan will no longer be able to reach the higher cultivation realms. You're really a bastard. Singluan just brushed the curses aside and continued his explanation. Grandpa, you don't know yet what that pill can do for us. Just one pill was enough to enhance my power by leaps and bounds in just a few days. I've advanced my cultivation by 2 stages since I've known Mr. Tang. Just think, would I be able to break through 2 stages in such a short time if I just relied on absorbing the Sorcerer's Stone? The old man was surprised, yet was still doubtful as he looked at Singluan. After staying silent for a long while, then he said, "Nonsense. If that pill is useful to our cultivators, why haven't any clan elders found out about it before?" Singluan then pointed to the woman and his 5 guardian elders, saying with a serious face, "I didn't lie, nor do I need to. All of them have taken the pill and their cultivation and power have been greatly promoted. You may not know about it, but Father definitely knows about my strength and these 6. Father, can you sense it? Aren't we much stronger than before?" Singchuo sensed the aura released by Singluan and the other 6. After a few seconds, his expression was that of disbelief, and he was so dumbfounded that he was paralyzed. Prior to this, he had heard from the 13 shaman guardian that Singluan and his subordinate had their strength progressed by leaps and bounds, on par with Singquo's 5 guardian elders. He didn't believe it then, but the fact had now been proven otherwise. "Your surname Tang?" asked Singquo as he looked at Tang Xiu. "That's right. Surname Tang, Xiu as my given name," answered Tang Xiu smilingly. "If you're well-versed with the situation in China, you'd probably know about me." Chapter 1002, Tang Xiu's Fury. Singchuo shot a deep look at Tang Xiu before turning to the old man and whispering something. He had never heard of Tang Xiu since he never paid attention to the situation in China. At this time, however, they were just a fish on the chopping block. They had been poisoned, and the poison was spreading all over their bodies at an extremely fast rate, erasing any chance for them to fight the other party. After a long while, he then looked back at Tang Xiu and asked in a deep voice, "Are you going to leave immediately if I pass my position on to Singluan?" "Yes. I have no enmity with your dark shaman clan." Tang Xiu nodded. "I came here purely to help Singluan to sit on the top seat, so naturally, I won't stay any longer after reaching my goal." Singchuo slowly asked, "What about the antidote?" Tang Xiu flicked a porcelain bottle to Singchuo and said, "This is the antidote. But the poison in your system is very special and cannot be fully removed all at once. You'll need to take the antidote once a year, though I've given enough of it to Singluan for 10 years. If you guys are loyal to him and don't make things difficult for Singluan for a decade, I'll naturally remove the poison from your system." "What?" The expression of Singchuo and the old man drastically changed, while several top clansmen of the Dark Shaman clan looked pale. They glared at Tang Xiu, but dared not say anything for fear of offending him. They could sense that they were beginning to feel weaker and weaker at this time, even experiencing painful sensations in their bodies. "Don't misunderstand me. It's not like I'm trying to control your life," said Tang Xiu sternly. "It's all for the sake of Singluan since he's in a weak position in your clan. What can he do if you bully him after I leave? All things considered, you got only 2 options before you. One is to keep resisting so you can die without a grave, while the second option is to fully support Singluan to be the clan's patriarch. The last option will not only give you benefits, but you can also witness your clan growing in power." The old man paced 2 steps forward to Tang Xiu and said, "Tang Xiu, isn't it? You keep telling us today that letting Singluan take the patriarch seat will give us huge benefits. But what exactly are the benefits? Suppose that we exchange the pills with the Sorcerer's Stone, will the pill be as potent as Singluan said?" "If you don't believe it, you can exchange the pills with your Sorcerer's Stone," replied Tang Xiu calmly. "But I can only give you 1 pill for 200 Sorcerer's Stones." "Come again?" The old man's face greatly changed to incredulity. 200 Sorcerer's Stones are only worth 1 pill? It's simply greedy, daylight robbery. It's just treating us as profligate idiots. Mr. Tang, what are you? Interjected Singluan as he looked at Tang Xiu in surprise. Tang Xiu raised his hand to interrupt him. He looked at the old man and said, well, the price is naturally not the exchange rate with Singluan, of course. We are friends, I can't just screw him over like that. But what am I to you? Do we even have a relationship? You want the pill, you must be prepared to get robbed, no? Singluan instantly understood Tang Xiu's intention and shot a grateful glance at him. The more he knew Tang Xiu, the more he felt that this man was a huge benefit to him. You see, Singluan himself has gotten quite a lot of pills, though it's just the advance payment I gave him. Tang Xiu let out a dry smile. I'm now waiting for him to pay me back with Sorcerer's Stone. If he has taken over the Dark Shaman clan's patriarch seat, I don't think it'd be a problem. The statement made Singluan shocked yet again, deepening his gratitude towards Tang Xiu. He realized that Tang Xiu was helping him to gain recognition from his clan. He suddenly realized that all the actions Tang Xiu did since coming to Bangkok were all for one purpose, to help him, be it by establishing a friendship with Bangkok's underground leader Kanaja, or now after coming to his clan. This is what a real brother is. He couldn't help but compare Tang Xiu with his blood brother Xingguo, only to find that the latter was a villain with malice to him, while the former truly regarded him as a brother. Tang Xiu himself was unaware of the thoughts Singluan had in mind. As he looked at his distracted face, he reminded, it's your call to take a shot, Singluan. The reminder made Singluan wake up from his daze. He shot a deep look at Tang Xiu before shifting his eyes to the top clansmen of his clan. Grandpa, father, and clan elders. You all have raised me and have seen me grow up. I've never harmed our clan's interests since the beginning. Not now, not before. But Xingguo, my own blood brother, is always looking at me as a thorn in his side. He's always wanting to remove me. I don't want to die, but be it strength or power, I've never been his equal at all. Resisting is the only thing I can do, which is the very reason why I relied on Mr. Tang's strength. I wouldn't have dared imagined taking over the patriarch seat prior to this. But since I got the pill Mr. Tang refined himself, my cultivation has been progressing very fast. I am at least 10 times stronger than I used to be. The same thing happened to my subordinates, the 5 guardian elders. I've literally changed the circumstances of myself and my men, especially in cultivation. So I thought, why can't I do so for the entire clan and propel the overall strength of our clan even more? I promise you that I'll definitely make everyone's cultivation advance a level higher within 3 months after I become the Dark Shaman clan's patriarch. I'll give the patriarch seat back to father should I fail to achieve it, and I'll exile myself, severing any relationship with the clan. That's my promise. Xingguo was shaken and asked in a deep voice, are you serious? I'm an adult. My words are my weight, I'll take responsibility for what I said Singluan with a dead serious face. You can disown and do anything should there be any falsehood in what I do. Xingguo looked at his father who nodded to him in response. Then he immediately said, today I'm declaring that I step down as the clan patriarch and pass the seat to Singluan. From today onward, he is the Dark Shaman clan's patriarch. The ceremonial homage will be held 3 days from now. Also, Mr. Tang. Since Singluan is your friend, I hope you can stay to attend it. 3 days later? Tang Xiu slightly knitted his brows. He wanted to leave Bangkok as soon as possible as he needed to go back to Jingmen Island. He wanted to cast a secret or to move Guyan's hidden exquisite pagoda to 9 Dragons Island. Ring, ring, ring. His mobile phone suddenly sounded at this moment. He frowned yet again and took his mobile phone out. An inquisitive look suddenly flashed in his eyes as he saw the screen. He picked up the call, saying, something happened? We got a situation here, boss. Tom Reggie's voice came out of the phone. Some people spread the news that some kind of treasure will be born in the waters near 9 Dragons Island. The treasure is rumored to be very beneficial for many practitioners. There have been many suspicious foreigners appearing in Saipan as of late. Most of them have contacted local shipping companies and have gone out to sea. Tang Xiu's complexion changed as intense killing intent filled his eyes. Nine Dragons Island was located deep in the Pacific Ocean. A treasure being born there was simply impossible. The people who spread this news definitely harbored malice and simply wanted to expose Nine Dragons Island to all practitioners. As of now, he had already learned that there were many practitioners on Earth. Although the number of Daoist cultivators were few, there were too many practitioners from other cultivation systems, such as those of the wizardry lineage, Buddhist schools, and the divergent races in the Dark Council. If all the practitioners in the world were to head to the vicinity of Nine Dragons Island, stating that the island would never be exposed was impossible. By that time, if some people were to brew another sensational rumor that the treasure was on the island, he would become a public enemy and would have to face all the forces of the practitioners. God damn it. That damned celestial wizard clan. Tang Xiu clenched his fists with eyes full of murderous intent. He had to admit how ruthless the scheme played by this celestial wizard clan was. For the sake of aiding in their revenge against him, they lured practitioners from all over the world there. It was very likely that they planned to strike when all the forces, including those on Nine Dragons Island, had been damaged. At that time, the celestial wizard clansmen would come out and reap the benefits. By now, everyone presented at the scene turned their attention to Tang Xiu, looking confused. They didn't understand why such an enormous killing pressure erupted from him. Boss. Mo came to Tang Xiu's side and called out in a whisper with a concerned face. Relay my orders to our people. Hunt and assassinate any clansmen of the Celestial Wizard clan and resort to any means to kill any of them who leave their land, said Tang Xiu with an awe-inspiring voice. The more you kill them, the more rewards you'll get from me. Also, contact the world's largest hitman organization. List a total bounty reward of $1 billion. I'll pay $1 million for one celestial wizard life. The bounty will go until $1 billion is used up. Mo's complexion changed. They just had a battle with the celestial wizard clan's experts recently, defeating them completely until they miserably fled. But now, boss issued such an order in a fury. The Celestial Wizard clan had definitely done something that made him extremely furious. I'll contact them right away, boss. Similar killing intent filled Mo's eyes as he walked in strides toward the distance. Tang Xiu then looked at Tang Guang and said in a deep voice, "Do you still remember the plan I ordered you to carry out? Go find Kawako immediately and be sure to accomplish it. I give you 3 months to assemble a group of elite experts that can be dispatched at any time for me. I'll take my leave now, Grand Master." Tang Guang cupped his fists and replied before flashing toward the distance fast. Tang Xiu spoke again, and Jing Shi's team is under your command from now on. I don't want any clansmen of the Celestial Wizard clan to appear outside of their clan's territory. Also, pay attention to anyone from the Stygian Club. Assassinate any member of this club should you find them outside alone. Leave no traces so there aren't future troubles. Acknowledged. Chapter 1003, Enemies' Foes Are My Ally. As the chilling voice drifted in the air, the black-suited Tang and appeared in front of everyone. She quickly made a gesture to Jing Shi's team to immediately follow her. Tang Xiu looked straight at Xingchuo and the old man, saying, I know your clan once belonged to the Celestial Wizard clan, but the blood feud between me and the Celestial Wizard clan will only end until one of us is gone. I want your clan to make a stance now. If you still want to come back to them, then we're enemies. If you have no friendship with them, then you're my friend. Xingchuo's eyes sparkled and he replied in a deep voice, the ancestors of Dark Shaman clan were chased and hunted by the Celestial Wizard clan's experts in the past. Many of our clansmen died in their hands as well. If there's any relationship between us and them, it should be as enemies and never as friends. One of the top clansmen of the Dark Shaman clan, a white-haired old man echoed. It's as Patriarch said. The Celestial Wizard clan once hunted our ancestors and damaged our lineage greatly. It has been so many years, but we have never forgotten this hatred. Pity that our clan is too weak compared to them, or we could have sought justice for our ancestors. Singluan took a deep breath and solemnly stated. What my father and everyone else said is correct, Mr. Tang. We never had any good impression toward the Celestial Wizard clan, and have been wanting them destroyed instead. We won't meddle in the blood feud between you and them. But if you provide us with many pills by which we can enhance the strength of the entire clan greatly, we can even help you in the future should you need our assistance. Singluan. Singchua's expression changed and he shouted. He didn't want the Dark Shaman clan to be involved in the blood feud between Tang Xiu and the Celestial Wizard clan. Although he knew how close Singluan and Tang Xiu were, he still shouted to prevent it. The old man, Singchua's father, however, looked surprised and slowly said, Tua, I approve Singluan's suggestion. Our clan has never been able to seek justice for our ancestors. It's all because we're weak. But if our clansman's strength grows by leaps and bounds, I don't see any reason why we can't help Mr. Tang later. Singchuo quickly retorted. But father, this matter is. The old man raised his hand to interrupt him and said to Tang Xiu, Mr. Tang, we need the pills, but I hope you can exchange it with our clan at a fair price. I am certain that you've heard from Singluan that the amount of sorcerer stones our clan has is but a few, so I hope you won't cut us off from this resource. You can rest assured about that. I've already considered it. Tang Xiu nodded. Also, I hope that all the Dark Shaman clan's senior members can keep this matter a secret. I don't want my men's hunt to kill the Celestial Wizard clansmen to be affected because of you. The old man raised his hand and vowed in a deep voice. The Dark Shaman clan will keep your secret as long as I'm alive. Should any of us violate it, they'll be charged with treason. However, there's one presumptuous request I'd like to ask you. And I hope Mr. Tang can help us. Speak then. Tang Xiu nodded. Singli is a senior member of our clan, and his strength is second only to my son, Singchuo, said the old man. He has betrayed the clan and is a sinner. If your men find his trail during their missions, I hope you can tell us promptly. No problem. I'll tell you his whereabouts should we find any news of Singli, replied Tang Xiu. Also, I can't attend the ceremonial homage for the Patriarch's seat coronation. I also hope that we can be friends and not enemies in the future. The members of Dark Shaman clan nodded together. They may not like Tang Xiu since many of their clansmen died in Tang Xiu's hands, but their lives were in Tang Xiu's hands now, and it was very likely that they and the clan would obtain many benefits from him in the future. It was just natural that they didn't dare to act otherwise. A few minutes later, in order to fulfill his promise, Singluan asked his father to open the clan's vault and hand over all the demon stones he owed Tang Xiu. He even gifted the Radiance Bloodstone to Tang Xiu to thank him for his help. Bangkok, at the coconut plantation. After Tang Xiu and Moa returned to this place, he found that Sui Dequan was supervising his men as they cleaned up the rubble. Upon seeing his sweaty and tired face, Tang Xiu took a porcelain bottle from his interspatial ring, then took a drop of body-tempering liquid and put it in the bottle before coming before him. Mr. Zhua. Upon seeing Tang Xiu's arrival, Sui Dequan immediately looked pleasantly surprised and a bit respectful, saying, "You're back, Mr. Tang. Kanaja has just left, but he left a message for you inviting you to his place if you have time." "I already called him on the way here," replied Tang Xiu. "Anyway, I need to leave soon since there's an urgent matter, so I won't be able to visit him. Also, I'd like to borrow your place to do something and will immediately leave after that." "Here." Sui Dequan's expression turned strange. "But this place is already a ruin, Mr. Tang. I've settled Chang and my 2 grandsons in the hotel. May I know why do you want to borrow my place?" I need that underground warehouse of yours, replied Tang Xiu. As for what I want to do, you'll know after I'm done. Since Mr. Tang needs it, please use it freely, said Zhuo Dequan hurriedly. Also, I'll order someone to prepare daily necessities if you'd like to stay here for a long time. They will also serve you meals on time if you'd like to. There's no need for all that. Tang Xiu waved his hand and said, I won't be here for a long time. It'll take up to 2 days at the most. I'll leave Bangkok and return to China once I'm done, so there's one thing I need your assistance with. Please tell me, said Zhuo Dequan respectfully. You also know that I and my men came to Bangkok illegally on a smuggling ship. I'm done handling all the things I need to do here and am in a hurry to return to China directly by plane. Can you get me a temporary passport and arrange it at the airport? It's quite difficult to apply for passports here, Mr. Tang. You're not a Thai, and the passport you hold is a Chinese one, said Zhuo Dequan looking a bit embarrassed. Also, I don't know anyone at the airport, so I can't help you with that. But what? Asked Tang Xiu. But Kanaja may be able to deal with that, said Zhuo Dequan. You don't need to buy a ticket, neither will you need a passport and other documents. He can also send the plane for you and your men. Kanaja? Being reminded of this man's identity, Tang Xiu nodded. Then help me contact Kanaja about this matter. Also, get however much gold you can as fast as possible in the next 2 days. I'll give a magic tool if you get enough of it before I leave. No problem. It was a happy surprise for Zhuo Dequan. He immediately grabbed his mobile phone and dialed Kanaja's phone number. Tang Xiu then came to the underground warehouse and entered it directly. The ventilation and lighting were excellent, so he had no problem to adapt to the environment. Come out. He took out the demon god spirit devourer cauldron from his interspatial ring and then placed it in the middle of the warehouse. He had hoarded a lot of precious ores in the ring, so the first thing he needed to do was to extract the gold essence. True fire. As Tang Xiu cast the technique, the true fire was ignited under the cauldron. He then continuously threw the massive piled-up gold in the warehouse into the furnace. Melting the gold itself was a very simple process since one just needed to burn all its impurities, leaving only the gold essence. With the powerful true fire, the gold would be easily smelted and leave a trace of gold essence. After a long time, all the gold in the warehouse had been smelted, leaving only liquid gold essence the size of a table tennis ball floating in the center of the furnace. Refining immortal tools with this little gold essence is nothing but a ridiculous dream. But this amount is enough to manufacture quite a number of magical tools. The Everlasting Feast Hall has a lot of people now, but weapons and tools are few in number. Except for the immortal swords Ji Qimei refined for Mo and his team, there are only a few magical tools for the rest. Not to mention the magic weapons and tools needed by those children after they have grown and can enter combat. The number will be huge. If this gold essence is well distributed to complement other material, it should be enough to refine 20 magic tools. Yet, it's still too few. It seems like I need to rely on Zhuo Dequan and Kanaja's power to get me a constant supply of refining materials. Gold, silver, bronze and pig iron respectively could be refined into gold, silver, copper, and iron essences. The mineral deposits of these 4 ores were the easiest to find on Earth nowadays, and they were also the most common materials to refine magic tools and weapons. As long as the precious ores were added into the smelted essence, a lot of magic weapons could be manufactured. Tang Xiu fished out his mobile phone. After finding that he got a signal in the underground warehouse, he immediately dialed Zhuo Dequan and Kanaja, telling them that he needed a lot of gold, silver, bronze, and pig iron. Afterward, he used the precious ores in his interspatial ring and began refining some magic tools. Sword is the most common weapon for cultivators. Back when in the immortal world, I also trained a group of powerful men excelling in swordsmanship. As Tang Xiu himself had mastered sword formations, The sword array he had developed in the past was able to make his men produce fearsome might by themselves. The sword formation he developed could be formed by 10, 100,000, or even 10,000 people. He even had developed an array that was suitable to be performed by 1 million immortals. If Zhuo Dequan and Kanaja can send a lot of gold, silver, bronze, and iron, I can refine more than 100 magic swords in 2 days. Chapter 1004, Beyond Expectation. With such a tight time schedule he gave to Zhuo Dequan and Kanaja, Tang Xiu thought that they wouldn't be able to get many refining materials. But he was left stunned once he saw container trucks coming one after another and carts of bronze and pig iron, with over 1,000 porters moving them into the underground warehouse. Furthermore, gold and silver were also sent in large numbers. A lot of them were even manufactured products such as fine jewelry. Although he didn't do a specific calculation, he could estimate the value of all the gold and silver. If they were converted into cash, it would definitely exceed 100 million US dollars. However, no matter how fast the gold, silver, copper, and iron were sent, the rate at which they were thrown into the demon god spirit devourer cauldron was faster. With the true fire kept burning, the refining and extraction process to get the essences of gold, silver, copper, and iron were unceasingly carried out, and Tang Xiu eventually stored all of them into the jade bottles. I have enough now. After calling Kanaja and Zhuo Dequan, the container trucks coming from all over Bangkok stopped coming and the porters gradually decreased. Tang Xiu then stood in front of the cauldron, his eyes sparkling. The impression he had towards Zhuo Dequan was neither good nor bad, but he found Kanaja to be a very interesting man. This man had an outstanding intellect, was prudent, and was also meticulously astute. Just for a piece of magic tool, he didn't hesitate to invest so much. It was beyond his expectations. The refining materials in his interspatial ring added with the gold, silver, copper, and iron essences he just extracted from each respective ore were enough for him to manufacture magic rank swords. Hey, refining is always a waste of time. Tang Xiu muttered. His eyes swept over the neatly placed jade bottles. When the last pig iron had been smelted, he collected the iron essence into the jade bottle and removed the precious ores from the ring lightning fast, throwing them into the demon god spirit devourer cauldron. The most important step in the refining process was to inscribe the array, integrate it to the embryo of the shaped sword, and then use the true fire to burn through until it eventually formed a perfect magic rank sword. Furthermore, due to the needs of massive mental power, Tang Xiu decided to refine many weapons at once. Melt the spirit, form the sword. As Tang Xiu controlled the lid of the cauldron and lifted up, a full set of 20 swords quickly flew out from the cauldron. With his spiritual power, he controlled them to hover around him unceasingly. Standing 10 meters away from him was Mo. He watched dumbly at the 20 swords that flying around Tang Xiu with a gaping mouth. He knew that Tang Xiu was refining weapons, but never once had he expected that he would actually produce 20 swords at one shot. Truly worthy of a boss. His artificer skills are truly amazing. Sighing inwardly, Mo paced back. He suddenly felt a bit funny deep down. He had been watching the boss refining something, yet he was unable to learn anything from it. Had it been Jing, he was sure he would surely be able to learn a lot. He knew that Jing was very interested in array formations, while the basis of being an artificer was the requirement to draw the arrays for specific uses. If Jing was here now, he'd definitely study it tirelessly and would ask boss for advice if he couldn't understand something. Forget it. It's just an auxiliary technique. I'm still good at frontal clashes, so I don't need to care much about arrays and refining techniques. With a smiling face, Tang Xiu gently raised his hand. 20 scabbards then flew out of the cauldron. With his exquisite control, he manipulated the 20 swords to be sheathed in the scabbards instantly and wrapped the blades brilliant light. At this time, Mo spoke. Boss, 2 days have just passed. Are we not in a hurry to go back to China? Tang Xiu hesitated for a moment and then said, let's wait for a while. No need to rush even if we need to hurry. Spending a little more time won't be a problem. But after we return to Jingmen Island and meet Yan, it's necessary to store the refined magic weapons into our armory. They will be distributed to those who perform great merits and contributions in the future. Also, seeing that Tang Xiu paused, Mo was confused and immediately asked, also what, boss? We are facing archenemies at hand nowadays, so the more magic weapons we have, the better it will be for all of us, said Tang Xiu in a deep voice. I've been preparing to test all the peripheral members of the Everlasting Feast Hall to face strong enemies. If they can pass this trial, they will be incorporated into the core members. They will also be taught more advanced and profound cultivation arts. I'll also open the Classics Library Pavilion for them, so they can learn other magic spells and the necessary knowledge for cultivators. Classics Library Pavilion? Where is that? Asked Mo with a confused face. His question made Tang Xiu roll his eyes at him and snap. Did you notice that I wrote a large number of books back when we left Nine Dragons Island? I put a lot of cultivation manuals, rare magic spells, general knowledge on cultivation, as well books that covered various aspects into the attic room. I wrote the inscription there myself and named it Classics Library Pavilion. Don't tell me you don't know about that? Mo shook his head vacantly and muttered, I never heard of anyone mention it. When boss was busy with something, I got nothing to do and went to seclusion and cultivated every day. But it's strange, though. Why haven't Jing and the rest mentioned it to me? At his muttering, Tang Xiu forced a wry smile and said, oh, I know that you're a cultivation lunatic. You always spend your time in cultivation whenever you're not with me. But you must keep in mind that being a cultivator needs not only cultivation, you also need to understand more practical knowledge, learn various spells, and delve into all kinds of secret arts. All things considered, you must still learn other important skills, be it array formations, refining, or alchemy, even if you're not proficient at any of them. Still, you must grasp at least common arrays, refining, alchemy, and other skills. Otherwise, you'll suffer losses when you follow me to a new place someday. I thought that as long as my cultivation is high enough and I'm powerful enough, wouldn't it be just fine if I don't learn other subjects, boss? Asked Mo. You also know that you must know yourself and your enemies to be unbeatable, don't you? Tang Xiu became serious and solemnly said, what if your enemy is an array master and trapped you inside the array he created? How can you fight with him head-on? You've seen that I also laid out a big array to trap and kill enemies before, haven't you? In the case of alchemy, you'll need to concoct heavenly and earthly treasures into pills to provide yourself cultivation resources. What if you happen to go to some places in the future and there's no alchemy expert to help you concoct them? Are you just going to watch the resources go to waste and lament at your weakness? Another example is being an artificer. You can always refine the most suitable weapon for yourself whenever you need it. Even if you have your immortal sword now, what about it? How much do you really know how to master it and how much power it can unleash? Magic spells are also another aspect you must know. Chapter 1005, Curiosity Might Kill the Cat. While observing Mo, whose face turned serious, Tang Xiu continued, you will fight enemies where you must use magic spells in the future. Some amazing spells have fearsome power, and you'll find yourself in a very difficult situation if you have no spells equal in power. If you battle powerhouses, you may lose your life no matter how trivial the difference in skills between you and your enemies is. Mo fell into silence. What Tang Xiu had said shook him to the core. Only at this moment did he realize how naive had he always been. Being a cultivator turned out that one didn't need to be a versatile person, yet one must have enough proficiency in everything. More so that having more skills was never a bad thing. As long as one had enough skills, plus his own strength, one would be able to sweep the enemies away. Only then did one truly become the best warrior. With a respectful face, Mo Ao saluted. I understand your admonishment, boss. Please rest assured that I'll definitely learn more knowledge and master more skills in the future. I wish to be the best warrior under you, and I'd like you to instruct me more in the future. I'll support you as long as you're willing, Ao, said Tang Xiu with a faint smile. You must remember that what I need is true powerhouses. Only those who are truly powerful who will be qualified to follow me in the future. You won't keep staying beside me and charge forward to face the enemies if you are surpassed by others. Mo Ao tightly gripped his fist and firmly said, I will definitely double my efforts, boss. Rest assured. All right, go to Ji Qimei and ask her cultivation resources for half a year once we return to Nine Dragons Island. Tang Xiu nodded and smilingly said, consider it as the compensation for the blood of the high-rank fierce beast you gave me. Mo Ao didn't decline and respectfully said, thank you, boss. He didn't decline because cultivation resources were a very significant need for every cultivator. Although he was not short on cultivation resources at the present, he knew that the higher his cultivation level was, the more he needed those cultivation resources in the future. Rather than having a headache due to being short on cultivation resources in the future, it was better to hoard more of them now. After giving Mo Ao a short lecture, Tang Xiu spent all day long refining and was finally able to manufacture 200 magic swords. However, he refined 2 more to give Sui Dequan and Kanaja 1 each. Let's leave. After storing everything into his interspatial ring, Tang Xiu and Mo Ao left the underground warehouse. When he appeared above ground, the rubble had been cleaned up and many trucks with building materials had arrived at the site. There were also several cranes working to place a large number of building materials everywhere. Divine Dr. Tang. Sui Qing grabbed her 2 sons' little hands and came to Tang Xiu. A vibrant smile painted her face as she looked at Tang Xiu with a warm expression. How come are you here? Didn't your father arrange for you to stay in downtown Bangkok? Asked Tang Xiu with a smile. Living there is so boring, so we kind of escaped and ran back here, replied Sui Qing with a smile. Anyway, I heard from Dad that you were in the underground warehouse, so we waited here. Also, are you going back to China soon, Divine Dr. Tang?
Yeah.
Tang Xiu nodded. I'll immediately rush to the airport. The smile on Sui Qing's face disappeared and she said in a low voice, well, could you help me with something? Just say it. What is it can I do for you? Asked Tang Xiu with a smile. Sui Qing said, I was able to flee China with my 2 sons due to the help of my father's friend and my bosom friend. But for the sake of helping me, she ended up offending a gangster-like guy in Jingmen Island. She said that she immediately went to Beijing to hide after the 3 of us left Jingmen Island. I called her a few times but couldn't contact her at all. Could you find and help her after returning to China? What's her name? Give me her number and home address, said Tang Xiu. Don't worry. As long as I can find her and she's in trouble, I'll help her. Thank you, Divine Dr. Tang. You're really a good person, said Sui Qing gratefully. All right, but please don't label me as a good guy. Tang Xiu smilingly said, anyway, I got not much time since we need to rush to Jingmen Island. I also have some gifts for these 2 little guys. No need to, said Sui Qing. Tang Xiu interrupted her by raising his hand. He took 2 jade pendant necklaces from his interspatial ring and hung them on their necks, and then smilingly said, remember, don't take them off no matter what happens. Keep them wearing it as it may save their lives when they encounter any danger in the future. As dusk came, Tang Xiu and Mo Ao arrived at Bangkok Airport. Just as their car parked in the parking lot, Kanaja hurried rushed to them with several bodyguards. Everything has been arranged, Mr. Tang. Your flight will take off at 8:30 p.m. and you should arrive at Jingmen Island Airport at 1 a.m. Since you have no passport and proper visa to enter Thailand, the flight attendants will arrange for you to stay in their workplace. Are you all right with this arrangement? Asked Kanaja respectfully. It's fine as long as we can return to China smoothly. Tang Xiu nodded and smilingly said, nobody can stop me once we arrive in China. That's right. I'm giving you this magic sword. It doesn't have many uses for you, but it's a genuine magic weapon nonetheless. You can regard it as a family heirloom you can pass on to your descendants in the future, though. Kanaja looked excited and seemed to regard the sword as an exquisite art. The moment he received it, he could sense a cool aura entering his arm and body through his palm. He originally felt a bit uncomfortable due to the hot weather, but he now felt cool and refreshed. He couldn't help but sigh in praise. What a great treasure! Inwardly, Tang Xiu felt a bit amused. This man was not a cultivator. How could he tell the quality of magic tools? However, without breaking Kanaja's imagination, he said smilingly, the magic weapons and tools I refine are always of top quality. You provided me a lot of gold, silver, bronze, and iron before, so I'll give you another one aside from this magic weapon. What is it? Curiosity appeared on Kanaja's face and his heart was full of expectation. For someone as extraordinary as Tang Xiu, he thought that anything Tang Xiu gave him would very likely be unordinary. Tang Xiu took out a jade pendant from his interspatial ring and handed it to him. I refined this magic tool for protection purposes when I had some free time. But I didn't have enough refining materials back then, so the effect only lasts for 3 uses. But you must remember to wear it every day since it can protect you from any danger thrice. But this is just a jade pendant, Mr. Tang. How can it help me, exactly? Asked Kanaja, looking confused. It will form an invisible protective shield that will cover your body once you are attacked, said Tang Xiu with a smile. Even if someone shoots you with a powerful sniper rifle at a close range, it's impossible to kill you. This object is that powerful? Kanaja was shocked to hear how powerful this body protection tool was. For it to be able to nullify a sniper rifle's bullet at point-blank range, wasn't it something that even the best bulletproof vest was unable to achieve? If the effect was really as good as Tang Xiu said, then it was equal to having 3 more lives. Don't worry. I'd never lie to you about that, assured Tang Xiu with a smile. Well, you can, of course, test it if you don't believe it though. Test it? How? Asked Kanaja hurriedly. Wear this jade pendant magic tool after you get back and order one of your men to shoot at you at close range, Tang Xiu explained smilingly. Well, if you're afraid to try it, you can just tell someone else to wear it and shoot him yourself. I understand. Thank you, Mr. Tang, said Kanaja respectfully. This jade pendant magic tool is much better for me than the magic sword, actually. At Bangkok Airport. The flight from Bangkok to China's Jing Island had finally landed. To show his regard and concern to Tang Xiu as someone of great importance, Kanaja personally led Tang Xiu and Mo to the plane, where he greeted the captain and other staff and smoothly brought them to the staff cabin. Mr. Tang, we have prepared a meal for you. Mr. Kin bought it from the outside. Please enjoy it, said an elegant and beautiful flight attendant respectfully after bringing delicious dishes to Tang Xiu and Mo. Tang Xiu raised his thumbs up and praised. Seriously, I didn't expect Kanaja to be this good at handling things. This guy's wisdom really can't be underestimated. Anyway, Kanaja seems very capable. Is he a big shot in Bangkok? We dare not judge Mr. Kin privately, Mr. Tang, replied the flight attendant in a whisper. But as far as I know, he is indeed very powerful. Even the owner of our airline acts very respectfully whenever he sees him. At 1 a.m. sharp, Tang Xiu and Mo exited from Jingman Island Airport. Someone from the Everlasting Feast Hall had long been waiting for them since they had been notified in advance. The person turned out to be Chi Nan, who Tang Xiu had not seen for a while. Welcome back to China, boss. With a bright smile on her face, Chi Nan greeted and slightly bowed. Eh? How come you're the one picking us up, Chi Nan? Tang Xiu nodded and smilingly replied. Well, most of our people have left Jingmen Island to our base, boss, answered Qi Nan with a smile. But I need to take care of the business, so I'm not in a hurry to leave for Nine Dragons Island. I just heard about your return to China, so I volunteered to pick you up. Tang Xiu nodded and then said, anyways, let's go back. We'll go to the headquarters here since I have an important matter to do there. What are you going to do, boss? Asked Qi Nan curiously. You seem to have many issues at hand yourself, Qi Nan. But remember, don't ask all sorts of questions from now on. Tang Xiu looked at her and said, oftentimes, the more you know, the less good it will do you.